Folks, Dan Frio here with your closing bell for June 16th, 2025. So first off, prayers out to the families of all these people. This man that went out and murdered these officials, I don't care what side of the aisle you fall on. This is out of control at this point, folks. So I hope they seek the death penalty for this guy and they hang him in front of the public because this is absurd. It needs to stop. So that being said, folks, let's get over to see what happened with rates today and what we expect from the Federal Reserve this week. And I can basically tell you what's going to happen, but CNBC came out today and they said Federal Reserve is likely to hold interest rates steady. Here's what it means for your money. Well, they're going to hold rates steady. They're not going to do anything in this meeting. We're going to go over that, what they're expected to do with this meeting, and then when we expect them to cut in the future and what that really means for mortgage rates. So let's get over to today's agendas. Folks, my name is Dan Frio. I do this report actually twice a day to inform you guys what's going on with those over there. I'm licensed in all 50 states as well as Puerto Rico. Our slogan is one application, one credit pool. We're going to shop your loan over 30 different lenders. Now, how do we do that? Well, I'll give you all my information at the end of this video, but without further ado, let's get to these things. Folks, all the suggestions and all the comments on my channel are mine and exclusively mine, not of my employees or the companies I work for in regards to my comments through here. I just want to make that well aware. So if you want to leave any comments you want down below, be my guest, but this has nothing to do with my company or my team here, folks. So let's get over to where mortgage rates are. Mortgage rates are ticked up a little bit today. We had some great news in the markets. We're hoping that the conflict is short-lived over with the Iran and Israel. So that's what the markets are basically telling us right now. If you go over to the equity markets, it's right through here. It's basically saying Dow's up 300 points. Basically, we retracted everything that we came back through for Friday, because Friday we saw all this conflict happen. We had oil prices jump dramatically. We had the markets crashing from there. And then now it looks like everything might be contained. So far today, so good across the board through here. We did have a little bit of a drop in the MBS market. That means when prices of the mortgage bond goes down, unfortunately, rates go up a little bit. But nothing really to write home about. It's a negative 11 tick. If we look at a 5-day chart, we're still better off than where we were last week. Middle of the week last week, let's say on probably Wednesday, Thursday, we were at the best rates for that week, and then they kind of went up from there. So what you have to remember is this isn't an inverse relationship of where rates are really going. So when you're watching this chart, you kind of got to flip your brain around. When it goes this way, it's like, oh, mortgage rates are getting better. When it goes this way, they're getting worse. So that's how you understand the markets. Let's get over to the news that we're seeing so far. There's really nothing here, and there's really nothing on the economic calendar for today and tomorrow. Tomorrow we have retail sales. It shows us how robust, I guess, the consumer is. But if you watch my live event today, we went over the M2 readings and how much the money supply, how much it has increased over the last couple of years, especially during COVID. You might find that interesting. So check out today's live event right through here. We take a deep dive into the 1% down program that we're offering in today's market. So basically, here's where we're looking at the CMA FedWatch tool. If we go over to it, because we don't have any news from the tariffs, we don't have any news, really solid information from Russia and Ukraine, from Gaza and that area there, from Israel and Iran. Everything is kind of up in the air right now, especially the big, beautiful tax bill. Now there's complications with the SALT deductions on that. If you're confused with all that, so is everybody else. So the confusion is basically, okay, Fed, tell us in one day what you're going to do. And here's what they're going to do. They're actually going to do nothing. And if you go down through here, I'll look at the probabilities. If you look at the screen right there, there's a 99.8% chance they're not going to do anything. And then the next meeting is in July. That's another head scratcher. Is a lot of the data that we're going to get on the tariffs and the big, beautiful tax bill going to be in this data by then or not? And then are we going to have enough data on the employment numbers for the Federal Reserve to really act? I don't really think so at June or July meeting. September's now when I'm expecting, if they're going to do anything, the data should tell us by September what they're going to do. So that doesn't mean, though, just because the Federal Reserve cut rates, doesn't mean that your mortgage rate's going to go down. That's usually determined right now in the markets by the Treasuries. And the more the Treasury markets are doing well or doing worse is basically what the mortgage market's going to do. So if you pay attention, if you don't have access to the MBS market and you can't really follow me on a daily basis, please do if you can. If not, pay attention to what the 10-year Treasury is doing. If the yield is up for the day, well, mortgage rates are probably up. And if the yields are down for the day, they're most likely down. But there's really not going to be much move in any of these until the Federal Reserve comes out and tells us kind of what their projections are, or we get at least some details on where the market's taking us from here. But if we go over to the economic calendar, tomorrow is just retail sales. That is it. Then Wednesday, that number that we're all looking out for, what the Federal Reserve is going to do and what they're going to say. So we're more cautious about what they're going to say than anything else. Hopefully they can at least come back saying, yeah, we're seeing a nice little reaction in the inflation numbers, because if you go over to the economy at a glance, this is actually the stuff the Federal Reserve looks at. If you go through here, inflation's in check, basically lower than they have ever expected, especially at the beginning of the year. Unemployment rate staying nicely steady right where it is. It's not upticking like a lot of analysts thought. And then the GDP, we're going to have to wait a little while for the next GDP figure to come in, but this number is supposed to be actually higher than expected as well. So how these numbers come in, it's only a guess right now, but how the Federal Reserve is going to do this week, I can actually tell you right through here, they're going to hold rates. They're not going to do anything. So we'll come back tomorrow with retail sales, and I'll give you a precursor what the markets look like going into the Federal Reserve's meeting. So if you want to find out more about me and my team and what we do, well, we have that slogan, one application, one credit pool. We're going to shop your loan over 30 different lenders. How do we do that? I'll just tell you in a second, but I want to introduce this. If you're looking for to buy a house in 2025, grant programs are back, and this one is actually, it gives you up to $7,000 in free money. So now how do we get all these quotes for you? Well, I work at a federal bank. So yes, I'm a federally licensed mortgage loan officer, but the cool thing about our bank is we're also a very large mortgage broker. So what that means for you is we have over 30 different lenders. When you put in your application at the rate update here, we're going to check your rates and programs with our bank. Then we're also going to navigate out there into the world with over 33 other lenders to see, do they have better rates, maybe a better program for you, or all the above. So if you want to find out how this works, please visit us at therateupdate.com. You can check in all the tools we have up through here. You can even give us a call. Our phone number's up here. If you have to ask me a question for anything, please do. You can call me or just ask on this button right through here. But also, if you want to get the application started, you can do that across through here. And then we also have a ton of videos where we update this on a monthly basis, giving you the most prominent video we have running right now, and then also the top 6 videos we have for the month, helping educate people from home buying to home refinancing and also to your credit. So thanks for watching. Can't wait to see you back here tomorrow at the opening bell to see how this mess starts another day. Take care, folks, and God bless America. Bye-bye.